It seems like he has an issue with me. I've been nothing but a gentleman to him. Seems like he has an issue with me, and he said a lot of nasty things that are false.
In the world of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the black belt is more than just some fabric you tie around your waist. For most, it's a symbol of a journey that takes a decade, or even longer, of relentless dedication and mat time. It represents thousands of hours of sparring, countless submissions, and a deep, intimate understanding of a brutal martial art. So, what happens when that tradition gets challenged by money, celebrity, and influence? This is the story of how a BJJ superstar, one of the most respected technicians on the planet, went from fiercely defending a controversial black belt to completely disowning it, sparking a bitter feud that exposed a wild story of betrayal and questionable legitimacy. 1 minute, Mikey Musumeci is calling the man at the center of the storm, Derek Moneyberg, a genius. The next, he's on a podcast saying, "I would never give someone a black belt in that amount of time." Before the black belt, there was the brand. The man at the center of the controversy, Derek Moneyberg, is the online persona of Dale Butzkowski.
Just why didn't you go with Dale Moneyberg as opposed to Derek?
It was just a funny marketing name that's catchy, slightly obnoxious or provocative to some people, and it works, you know.
Born in 1979, Moneyberg built a career as a globe-trotting wealth coach and entrepreneur, teaching clients how to build businesses, invest in real estate, and navigate the stock market. He ventures into real estate and investing, eventually founding Moneyberg.com in 2019 to formalize his coaching business.
So the Moneyberg business, so that website and the social media assets we started creating in 2019. I help people with entrepreneurship and help them understand how do we start a small business and scale that. I help them understand fundamentals of real estate and how to invest in real estate, and there's many ways to make money in real estate. And then I help them understand, global markets, primarily the stock market. I think of it as like a wealth coach, or I try to help people make decisions that would lead to long-term wealth. There's no get rich quick. There's no get anything significant quick. But I try to help people think about their finances in a way that, over a period of time, that they could have a lot of financial freedom.
Moneyberg created a persona known for being brutally honest and highly selective, working only with clients he deemed serious and motivated. And above all, he's 100% sure that he has what it takes to help others build their wealth.
Well, I did all of those things.
Okay.
I built a real business. Unlike most people on the internet that talk about those things, I built a real business. I built this business. I just got my ClickFunnels plaque for $50 million in revenue in this business. Previously, I was involved in a dating business that I didn't own, but I was involved in building it. And my brand within that business, we did about $6.25 million per year at the time that I left that business. I made tens of millions of dollars in the stock market. I made over $10 million in real estate and profits. I went to the #1 business school in our country. I went to University of Chicago's Graduate School of Business. So I do have the right academic credentials. I'm not a PhD. There's a lot of PhDs that don't have any money. So most people on Wall Street aren't PhDs either, but they make a lot more money than PhDs do,
His martial arts journey began around 2020. After achieving significant financial success, Moneyberg found himself out of shape due to gym closures and decided to pursue a new hobby. With a childhood interest in martial arts, he was inspired by BJ Penn's approach of training with top-tier instructors from the very beginning.
When I was a kid, I was in some pretty rough environments, and thankfully I was a bigger kid and I could protect myself pretty decently. But, over time, I was always interested in martial arts, since I was a child. I think a lot of people are. Obviously you are as well, And I just never did that. And then, after 2020, when you had all the crazy things that happened at that time and all the turmoil in the stock market, I did very well in the stock market. And I thought, you're really doing well financially, but I was 300 pounds. I was fat, 300 pounds. I was pretty out of shape. They closed the gym, so I was always good about lifting weights. Never trained MMA, but they closed the gyms and you couldn't go to the gym at that time. So, I focused on money and I did very well in the market. And I found myself by 2021 in a situation, I'm like, wow, like you kind of made more money than you ever thought you might in your lifetime, and you're 42. And, what are the things you'd like to do with your time now? And I grew up poor and I really focused on financial things and educational things so much that that was kind of a weird idea for me at the time. I'm like, oh, like, of course I'm going to still do that, but I could do other things too and have like hobbies. Hobbies was like a new idea to me. If that's, I mean, you must be a pretty driven and obsessive person yourself, you know?
He first reached out to the former professional boxer Paulie Malignaggi for private training. Realizing he needed more frequent and intensive training, he quickly expanded his roster of elite coaches, bringing legends like Jake Shields, Tito Ortiz, and Mike Chandler to his location for focused sessions.
So I asked Paulie to come train with me 4 years ago this month. And then the next month I asked Jake Shields. I knew him for some time. I met him through Nick Diaz. And I asked him if he would come train with me. And then very quickly I realized if you're only training a couple of weeks, 8 days a month, you're not going to get good at this, So then I kind of scaled that up. I asked Tito Ortiz and Mike Chandler and a lot of other people if they would come, just people that I knew. And then pretty soon, that expands. And, as it's done for you, then, quite a lot of people in the MMA community over time,
This unique training setup, hiring the world's best practitioners for daily private lessons, became a core part of his brand. This is how he met Mikey Musumeci. According to Moneyberg, the two were introduced through mutual friends and bonded over their shared analytical approach to learning. Musumeci became one of the many elite instructors, including Gordon Ryan, who was paid to travel to Moneyberg and teach him privately, setting the stage for one of the biggest controversies in modern jiu-jitsu. Then in mid-2025, Derek Moneyberg made an announcement that sent shockwaves through the martial arts world. He had been promoted to black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The promotion itself was a star-studded event. Standing right there with him were MMA and BJJ legends like former Strikeforce champ Jake Shields, who actually awarded the belt, alongside icons Lyoto Machida, Glover Teixeira, and Frank Mir.
So BJ Penn was like legitimately my inspiration for that I'm like, all right, if I ever do this, I have to do it the way he did and have, private instruction with black belt, with high-level instructors from the beginning. Regarding the amount of years, yeah, maybe that's a shorter amount of years. Regarding the amount of time, I spent more time in the gym than most of these people I'm not a professional fighter. And I think there's some confusion on the internet about that. I'm a professional businessman. I'm not a professional fighter. There's nowhere on the internet that I ever talked about, I'm going to win this competition, I'm going to win worlds, I'm going to win ADCC, I'm going to be a UFC champion. I started in my 40s, dude. Like, that's not a realistic thing. It was never my goal. But it was a good thing for fitness. It was something that was in the back of my head that I always wanted for like self-defense, that like, I'm a big guy and I'm in my 40s and I can travel around the world and feel pretty safe. 20 years from now, when you're in your 60s, are you really going to be able to protect yourself or protect your girl or your family if you don't have some real fight training? It's probably not realistic,
On the surface, it looked like a huge moment of triumph, but one little detail made it instantly controversial: the timeline. Moneyberg claimed he'd earned his black belt in just 3.5 years.
From what I was told, it was around 3.5 years, from what I've read.
3 years and 7 months.
Okay, three years and 7 months, which is, as you know, you don't need me to tell you.
Now, to put that in perspective, a large survey of BJJ practitioners found the average time it takes to get a black belt is around 13 years. Of course, there are prodigies. Guys like BJ Penn and Caio Terra are famous for climbing the ranks insanely fast, but they proved their rank by winning world championships at the black belt level. Moneyberg, on the other hand, had zero known competition record. His defense was his unique training setup. Moneyberg said he logged about 3,000 hours on the mats through intense daily private lessons. This wasn't your typical hobbyist going to group classes a few times a week. This was a full-time immersive study session with a rotating cast of the world's best. He argued that he had the money to create a learning environment that no normal person could ever access. Jake Shields, who got hit with immediate and intense backlash, defended the promotion on those grounds. He argued,
people are just freaked out saying it's fake, he bought his belt. The thing is, he's good, he got it really quick, but every week he brings a different top fighter or jiu-jitsu guy to his house and has hours of privates. So do you think you're not gonna get a lot better? He has me over there, Gordon Ryan, Mikey Musumeci, Gilbert Burns, Lyoto Machida. He's got like 30 guys he brings through. How old is he? Not saying he's gonna be a world champion, but he definitely beat a regular black belt. And people are just so enraged by him getting the belt so quick. But like, I'm not gonna, I'm the one that made the decision, but I talked to a bunch of his other coaches too, and they agreed, and like.
But for a huge part of the BJJ community, that explanation didn't just fall flat. It felt like a slap in the face. The skepticism was immediate and brutal. If some random guy trained like a maniac every day for 3.5 years but didn't pay a dime, would he be a black belt? The black belt no longer means you have technical mastery or warrior spirit, but that you're just a promoting machine. The controversy wasn't just about one guy, it was about the soul of the sport. As the controversy raged, an unexpected voice emerged to defend Moneyberg. It wasn't just another paid coach, it was Mikey Musumeci, a 5-time IBJJF world champion and one of the most beloved and respected figures in modern jiu-jitsu. Known for his obsessive technique and humble personality, Mikey's word carries a ton of weight, and his defense was passionate. He declared,
"No, it's crazy because Derek is so technical actually in jiu-jitsu, like a conscious level of technique, A lot of the top world champions, they have like a lot of knowledge, but more subconscious. Like they could just be in a spot and they could just feel what to do, right? But they can't really explain well, like what's going on or like have deeper concepts. So I'm always amazed by Derek actually having like conscious like technique. I think he's better than most world champions in martial arts because of his conscious level of technique. Like I would rather Derek teach me something than the majority of world champions because he's so consciously understanding technique and from a deeper understanding, not just doing a move, And I know that it applies to what you guys are learning from him as well. Like it's the same exact type of mentality, but it's because of that he's able to learn martial arts that way and be so much more deep thinking oriented than the current world champions.
Mikey framed Moneyberg's situation as a complete anomaly, an exception to every rule because his circumstances were just that unique. He explained,
"So the traits I admire about Derek, first of all, he's working every second. Like he's literally working every second. He's barely sleeping, and he still finds time in the day to learn and train jiu-jitsu, to train MMA. Sometimes we're training at 3, 4 a.m. And it's because he had no time in his schedule because he's working all day, and he still finds that time and he makes the time to train even though he's exhausted. He doesn't feel like training, So that work ethic is like majority of people in his position, would they be doing that? Would they be dying the training with no sleep? Would they drop their ego and bring in all these people that are beating them up? He's learning so his ability to let go of his ego to perfect what he's working on and his work ethic, I really value in him, and I really admire that. I look up to him with that.
In Mikey's initial opinion, the critics just couldn't wrap their heads around the sheer volume and quality of instruction Moneyberg was getting. It wasn't a shortcut. It was a hyper-accelerated expressway paved with more money than most people could even dream of. This was a critical moment. Mikey's endorsement was the single most powerful piece of validation for Moneyberg's belt. If a technician of Mikey's caliber believed Moneyberg's jiu-jitsu was legit, then maybe the critics were wrong.
And, Mikey said before that, I have a genius level IQ. He said this in writing. I have a genius level IQ that I work very hard, I learn very fast. So yes, I learn things fast.
But even with Mikey's support, the community was still deeply divided. Whispers about money kept getting louder. Was Mikey's opinion pure, or was he also tied to Moneyberg financially? Critics pointed out that many of the elite athletes in Moneyberg's circle were paid for their time, appearing on his podcasts and wearing his gear. Mikey's defense, while powerful, wasn't enough to put out the firestorm. In fact, it only seemed to pull one of the sport's biggest heroes right into the middle of it. For a while, the battle lines were drawn. On one side, you had most of the BJJ community skeptical and protective of the sport's traditions. On the other, a small but powerful group of elite athletes led by Jake Shields and vocally backed by Mikey Musumeci. And then, the whole thing blew up. The reversal came during a podcast. Under questioning, the fierce defender suddenly changed his tune completely. Musumeci, the guy who had called Moneyberg a genius, stated flatly, "I would never give someone a black belt in that amount of time."
I think that Derek definitely works hard, but I would never give someone their black belt in that time. He's a very smart guy, but for myself, I wouldn't give someone a black belt in that time. I do respect the people that gave him it, though. That's all I'm saying. The thing is, I can't prove if he's a black belt or not, right? And there's nothing I could do. So what am I doing arguing if he's not having a match with somebody that could prove it, he's not doing anything like that, then there's no point in even doing this. I think that.
And guess what? Mikey repeated the same statement on many podcasts, including the Simple Man podcast.
So I went there 3 times and the guy was always really nice to me. He doesn't train at all. Like he just, like when I say train, doesn't roll or anything. He just like learns from like random instructors every day, like Gordon. And he kind of just trains more for like self-defense and fighting. Honestly, he has a lot of cool random moves. Like I'll just be on the mat and be like, check this out. Royce Gracie does this with his triangle. I'm like, oh, I've never seen that before. So he knows things like that, like cool random moves.
Interesting.
Now, can he apply it and do it to someone in his division like Nick Rod? No fucking way. I just thought his knowledge was like, he just knows a lot of things in jiu-jitsu, but that doesn't mean you can physically do it at all. He knows things that I didn't know in jiu-jitsu. Like, I don't know, I've just been training so many years, so when he knows like random cool things, like details from like Royce Gracie and random black belts, like Frank Mir has this defense, Royce Gracie has this, I was like, oh, I respect that. Like he does study, like, and learns. Like, would I give someone their black belt in 3.5? I feel like a corrupt politician when I respond like this.
Of course.
Yeah. But like, I would never give anyone a black belt in that time. He doesn't compete or train. I think that the exception for a black belt in that speed would be someone like Nicky Rod, like a high level wrestler that just fucks up like black belts already, like a year into training. Like you're like the guy that could like change the amount of years to get a belt.
The contradiction was shocking. He went on to clarify his relationship with Moneyberg and his real assessment of his skills, drawing a huge line between knowing jiu-jitsu and actually doing jiu-jitsu. Musumeci revealed that Moneyberg's training wasn't the relentless grind of sparring that forms the backbone of jiu-jitsu. It was more like collecting techniques. He acknowledged that Moneyberg had an impressive mental library of moves, saying, "He knows things that I didn't know," often citing details from legends like Royce Gracie. But as every practitioner knows, knowledge isn't the same as ability. The flip-flop was complete. The most credible pillar supporting Moneyberg's rank had just crumbled, and the fallout was about to get personal, bitter, and very public. The reversal wasn't just a change of opinion. It detonated a friendship. Derek Moneyberg and Jake Shields felt completely blindsided. Moneyberg responded with a mix of hurt and anger, revealing just how different Musumeci's private words were from his public statements. He claimed that Mikey had previously praised his skills.
On July 3rd, I received my black belt in Jiu-Jitsu from Jake Shields here. And Mikey Musumeci, who used to be one of my trainers, used to be one of my coaches, very talented guy, but he talked a lot of recently, said a lot of contradictory things about that black belt. So here he says, I train harder and I'm doing the right things more than the majority of world champions.
Yeah, I mean, I introduced you guys a couple years ago. We did a couple-hour private. You guys got along right away. Every time Mikey spoke about you to me, he praised you both as a person and your training ability and your jiu-jitsu. So, you know, how things have changed have really been shocking to me.
It's been shocking to me as well. I never missed a workout. Jake's been out here over 50 times. It's been 4 years we've been training together. We started in November 2021. He's been here 50 times, more than 50 times for multiple days at a time. Plus we've trained in many other places. We trained in Vegas, we trained in other cities. And we never missed a workout. And I never missed a workout with anybody. Any of my coaches that say that, I never missed a workout.
Telling him things like, there's guys that had a black belt for 20 years that they don't have the technical knowledge that you do. To have that same person now publicly dismiss his skills felt like a huge betrayal. Moneyberg's response was final. We're not friends. You betrayed our friendship.
I was very happy he recently defended his belt at the UFC belt. And I was very happy for him. And this is after he betrayed me. It is a betrayal. There's no other way to talk about it. And he's not my friend anymore. He keeps saying, Derek is my friend, Derek's my friend. We're not friends. You're not my enemy. I don't want to treat you like an enemy. You're not my enemy. And the best way I could describe it, if I saw two men trying to bully you, I would come protect you. I would come defend you. But I also would remind you after you were in a safe place again, I'd remind you we're not friends. You betrayed our friendship. You betrayed our friendship. And I'm very disappointed about that. And honestly, it hurt my feelings a bit. I don't know why you chose to do that, except you can't seem to tolerate social pressure very well. But you keep saying my name in the press conference even. I'm happy that you redefend your belt. Then you go to the press conference and say my name some more in a negative way and say like, well, I wouldn't give him his belt in that period of time, which doesn't reflect well upon you either.
Jake Shields echoed that, expressing his disappointment. He revealed he had private texts from Mikey defending Moneyberg's skills and even telling Shields to please set it up, referring to a grappling match to silence the critics because Mikey himself was literally being canceled for his support. Shields said,
"In your whole training, you were trained originally as self-defense, but then you kind of got hooked to jiu-jitsu, so then you started wanting the belts, and you progressed. I've trained with thousands of black belts across the world, and you're not an average black belt. You are better than an average black belt. That's just the truth of the matter, because to give it so fast, you had to be better than the average black belt. So it's like, I'm not saying you're going to beat Nicky Rod. I never told you that. I was very honest the whole time, but are you a black belt? Definitely. And you're also, you're a 46-year-old businessman. You're not trying to win world titles. For your age and your ability, it's insane. Everyone that trains with you know, including Mikey, because he's privately said great things about you. I mean, I have text messages from it. I typically don't like sharing stuff like that. I might have to in this case, because he's privately texted me defending you and then says something different, which to me is really disappointing because I looked at Mikey as a friend. I still think he's tremendous. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's so good. To see him just turn on you from social pressure was so disappointing to me to see. Typically, I wouldn't read private texts. I just think I got stuck in the situation because you asked him to stop speaking about you, and then he kept saying it and just lying, and you're like a good friend of mine, and he's just flat out not being honest. Dude, can you please have Derek up someone and film it so we stop getting wrecked online? Bro, if we just get a random heavyweight black belt, obvious, Derek will win. Even if we just have him get closed guard, his legs are so strong. Please set it up, please. I'm literally being canceled.
He's been stabbed and died.
Goes on. I hate these people. Them all, such bad vibes. The majority of black belts are in jiu-jitsu. So from him saying you're better than the average black belt, and they are the ones talking about Derek. Like, what the people need to understand, elite level guys like us, a black belt, we run right through a regular black belt. And that's him clearly saying that you're better than the average black belt. Here we go on. Yeah, it doesn't bother me and Derek. Luckily, it doesn't bother me or Derek. All the best people are saying he's good, and it's just the losers that are talking. Trying to say we are all bought off, like we are broke, laugh fakes. But Derek is actually good enough to beat these guys. That's the thing that sucks. He 100% can.
So he's insistent that I could beat many black belts.
Yeah. I don't know why he's so stressed out. Please, dude, just want to go crazy online after he someone up. I really hate these people. It sucks because they just keep posting from 2 years ago. There's more from Mikey. He is not weak. He is strong as like he'll be stronger than the guys his age and weight. But yeah, we just need to work on cardio. Yeah, it's lame, but honestly, he's smart and he'll turn this into a positive. Everyone is talking about him. Dude, it's getting crazy buzz. He just need him to beat a black belt. And he's set. Everyone will say sorry and shut up. They won't really say sorry. That's the thing. They'll make an excuse.
The public reversal had turned a professional controversy into a personal feud. Moneyberg, for his part, tried to take the high road, but the damage was done. "I can't trust you in the future," he told Musumeci, citing the total contradiction between his private and public statements. The community's reaction to the flip-flop was a mix of "I told you so" and more criticism. Those who doubted the promotion from the start felt completely vindicated. They saw it as Mikey finally caving to public pressure and admitting what they knew all along. But others criticized Musumeci for his initial defense, seeing his reversal as a cowardly retreat after he got beat up by the jiu-jitsu community. They saw him as someone who either lacked conviction or had been complicit in validating a sketchy promotion for money, only to backpedal when things got too hot. Beyond the personal drama, this whole mess ripped open a deeper debate in the BJJ community. It forced everyone to confront a question that's been bubbling under the surface for years as the sport gets more popular. What does a black belt even mean anymore? Is it just about time served? The traditional model says it's a decade-long journey. This path values dedication, persistence, and slowly building experience. For people with this view, Moneyberg's 3.5-year timeline is an insult that devalues the commitment of everyone who took the long road. Or is a black belt about pure technical knowledge? That was Mikey's initial argument. He said Moneyberg was a genius who could absorb information like a sponge. In this view, if someone can learn the entire system of jiu-jitsu, does it matter how long it took? But Mikey's own reversal pointed out the flaw in that logic. He admitted that while Moneyberg might know the techniques, he couldn't actually use them against a resisting opponent. And that's the difference between a librarian of moves and a fighter who can use them under fire. Jiu-Jitsu's entire philosophy is built on the idea that the mats don't lie. You either can do it or you can't. This leads to the third, and maybe most controversial factor, money. Moneyberg's entire case rests on his ability to buy an elite, immersive training environment. His defenders, like Shields, say that kind of access naturally speeds up learning. But critics see it as the literal definition of a bought belt. It threatens the idea that jiu-jitsu is a meritocracy, where skill and hard work are the only things that matter. It creates a two-tiered system, one for the wealthy who can afford the fast track and one for everybody else. The lack of any real sparring footage or competition history remains the biggest sticking point for almost everyone. People just want to see the proof. They want to see him roll. The drama between Mikey Musumeci and Derek Moneyberg is more than just internet gossip. It's a defining moment for modern BJJ. It's a case study in the collision between old school tradition and new world wealth. Mikey's flip-flop from staunch defender to public critic exposed the personal cost of this mess, shattering a friendship and leaving his own reputation up for debate. Moneyberg remains a black belt under Jake Shields, defiant and insisting his rank is justified. He has threatened legal action and is even suing detractors like Sean Strickland for defamation, all while refusing to compete publicly to prove his skills. The community is still split. Some, like Tom DeBlas, urge everyone to just focus on your own jiu-jitsu and ignore the drama, while others feel that ignoring it allows the very meaning of a black belt to get watered down. In the end, this story leaves us wondering, who is the gatekeeper of legitimacy in an art like this? Is it the coach's word, the public's opinion, or does the truth, as the old saying goes, only ever reveal itself on the mat? Let me know what you really think in the comments. This is a conversation the whole community needs to have.